This classroom video is part of a professional learning toolkit, which is based on the What Works Clearinghouse Practice Guide, Improving Reading Comprehension in Kindergarten through 3rd grade. In this video, you will see Lorena Dominguez and her first grade students engaged in using a reading comprehension strategy, questioning, as they learn about plants from several informational texts. The video is designed to support teachers learning about these recommended instructional practices, teach students how to use reading comprehension strategies, and teach students to identify and use the text's organizational structure to comprehend, learn, and remember content. There are 5 sections to view. First, Ms. Dominguez introduces the activity. Then she models the comprehension strategy questioning with a mentor text. In the 3rd section of the video, on the next day, you will see Ms. Dominguez providing further instruction on how to ask and answer questions with a partner, and also teaching students how to use text structure to know when to pause and ask their questions. Then, while most students work in pairs, Ms. Dominguez works with a small group of students to support their use of questioning. Finally, you will see pairs of students asking and answering questions of each other as they read a text.
What are some questions you ask while you're reading? Cadence?
I was asking a question in my head, how did he do that?
Last one, Sophia.
Why did he do it?
Why did he do it? Okay, so those are all great questions, so you're already doing that. Good readers ask questions as they read to understand what they are reading. I have here the question that we're going to focus on as we read. How does this fit with what I know? So today we're going to read an informational text about plants. We've learned a lot about plants, right? So as we go and we read, we're going to be thinking about, how does this fit with what I already know? Okay? And when we answer those questions, we're going to be using words like I didn't know, I know that, I thought. So as I read the text, okay, I'm going to be thinking about, how does this fit with what I already know? Okay, so the story I'm reading today is called Plants We Use. If you are like most people, your house, your clothes, and your food are made from parts of plants. Now, as I read this part of the text, I'm going to stop and I'm going to ask myself this question. How does this fit with what I already know? Okay, so I want you to listen as I think about that, okay? When I think back to my question, how does this fit with what I already know? I know that food is made from plants, like salads that we eat and lettuce that we eat and use in our food. Let's keep going. Did you know that some clothes are made from seeds? Cotton seeds have soft fluff. So now that I've read again, I'm going to stop and I'm going to think about what I just read. Now, as I was reading, I realized there was something that I didn't know. I didn't know that cotton was a seed and that's what makes our clothes. So as I was reading, I thought to myself, that's something I didn't know, and now that's something I have learned from reading my text. Now I'm going to continue reading. Now as I read, I want you to be thinking about that question. I want you to think about, as I read, how does this fit with what you know? Okay? The roots of some plants give us food. So think about what I just read and how does this fit with what you already know? So find a partner next to you, hand to hand, don't start talking just yet.
I didn't know that sometimes you use roots to make tea. I heard you say that you didn't know that you could use roots to make tea. I heard you say that What do you know or didn't know?
I saw that.
I didn't know that roots can be food. I didn't know that. I heard you say that you didn't know that sometimes roots are food.
Raise your hand if you would like to share how you answer this question. How does this fit with what I already know? Colton.
I didn't know that sugar, drinks, spices, or even fruits can come from roots.
Great. I'm glad you learned something. Easton.
I didn't know that you can eat food out of roots.
Out of the roots. Awesome. And AJ.
I already know that ginger is a root.
That ginger is a root. Awesome job, friends. So see, as we read, good readers stop, just like we did, to think about that information that we just read, and we ask questions, okay, to understand what we're reading, and now we're learning new information. So think about yesterday's lesson when I read to you plants we use, okay? So think about the text that we read and what I was doing when I was reading you the text. Paige?
You need to ask a question in your head.
Awesome job. You're asking a question. That's our key idea of knowing the strategy that we're using is asking a question. You're going to work with a partner today. You will read the story, Corn for Sale, and you're going to be practicing asking a question. Asking the question, how does this fit with what I know? Now, before you begin, I want to introduce some vocabulary words that you are going to see as you read. Our last word that you're going to see in your text is the word healthy. What's the word? Healthy. Does anybody know what the word healthy means? Healthy. Parker.
To eat food that is like good for you.
Exactly. Wesley?
That's something that makes your body healthy.
That makes your body healthy. Yes. So healthy is having good health. So making those good choices, like Parker says, eating food that is good for you. Okay. So what's the word? Healthy. Awesome job. In a minute, you're going to partner work, okay? So you're going to partner talk. So I want to show you, before you go work with your partners, I want to show you how you're going to do it.
The teacher models with a student how to take turns asking and answering questions with a partner. Then she explains to students how to use text structure to know when to pause and ask questions.
We are going to stop right here because I'm at my new heading. We're not going to read the next section until we ask and answer the question. So here's our content. So this tells us the different headings we're going to see. Let's look at our title. We have to know our titles. It gives us an idea of what we're reading. Corn for Sal. Good, by Ellen Cantala. Okay? Turn the page. So Easton is going to start first. So we're listening to Easton.
It almost spells my name.
Almost. Okay.
What is corn? Farmer
Uses
uses a
machine
to pick the corn. I heard one of our vocabulary.
Did you?
Machine.
Good job, friend. All right, turn the page. We have our next heading, so we're going to stop. So let's think about that question. So how does this fit with what you already know? I want you all to think, and I want you to share. How does this fit with what you already know?
I know that you can have that corn grows from a plant.
You know that corn grows from a plant? How do you know that?
Because We planted a corn plant.
Awesome job. Good job remembering that we planted a corn plant. What are some facts that you learned from our informational text? What are some facts? What did you learn?
I know that you can make popcorn with popcorn seeds.
With popcorn seeds. Awesome job, friends.
The farmer used a machine to pick up the corn from the land. How does this fit with what you already know? I know that the farmers take care of the plants. How does this fit with you already? How does this fit with you already know? I didn't know that the farmer uses a machine to pick the corn from land. Stop. Now say it in mind. How does this fit with what you already know? I didn't know that farmers use machines to pick up the corn. How does this fit with what you already know? I know that farmers dig holes and put tiny seeds in the holes.
What are some facts that you learned from reading the text? Victoria.
I did not know animals eat corn.
You did not know that animals eat corn? Okay, that's a great fact to learn. I like how you use our sentence stem, I didn't know. Great job. Ruby.
One fact is that you could buy corn from the corn people that grow the corn.
Okay, and who grows the corn?
The farmer.
The farmer. Awesome job. So with you giving me facts about what you read, that tells me that you are understanding the words, the sentences in your text, because you are able to answer the question, how does this fit with what I already know? You're stopping and you're thinking about what you are reading. Any questions? Yes, Landon.
Can I take my bookmark home?
You can take your bookmark home and you can use it as you are reading text at home, and you can show your parents how you're stopping and you are reading and answering questions as you are reading your text. Great question, Landon. Yes, Colton.
So what if you read this to your parents, what if you partner talk with your parents with the bookmark?
I love that idea. I love that you could partner talk with your parents and show them how you are stopping and asking questions and answering. You can show them how you do that in class, so that way you're doing it at home.
In this video, you saw how Ms. Dominguez taught her students how to use the reading comprehension strategy of questioning. Her teaching utilized several teaching strategies for 2 of the recommendations in the Improving Reading Comprehension in Kindergarten through 3rd Grade Practice Guide. As described in Recommendation 1, Ms. Dominguez taught students how to ask and answer questions and then used a gradual release of responsibility to give students practice using the strategy more independently, either in the small group or with a partner. For Recommendation 2, Ms. Dominguez emphasized the headings in the text as places to stop and ask questions. She also had students in the small group make use of the photos in the text to help understand the text. See the practice guide for additional guidance on these and other recommendations. These lessons were part of a larger unit on plants. Prior to reading these informational texts, Ms. Dominguez's students planted corn plants and kept a journal. Following these lessons, they added more facts to their plant journals.